What is going on, everybody? Zach RC here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome along to episode number 55 of the F1 Ultimate Career Series for the Miami Grand Prix. If you guys did miss the last episode, make sure to go check that one out before you see this one. And as always, if you're new around here, then make sure to get subscribed for more future F1 content as the series continues on. So, fourth race of the 2023 season brings us to Miami for the second ever Miami Grand Prix, of course, after last year's event was quite successful for them. Second place for us in that race, obviously trying to take the win this time and get our title defense off to a good start after the long-awaited podium in Azerbaijan. Of course, upgrades on the board to be made, as always, with our resource points in the last race, put those towards some upgrades towards the durability and towards the chassis department as well. Of course, we are now the second fastest team on the grid by quite some way over Ferrari now, but of course Red Bull, look at that gap they've got. It's a big gap to close. In terms of power unit parts, I see them make a change on that front. MGUH, I didn't think I was going to change that at first, but we'll change that prior to qualifying, and Gearbox make a change to that as well. We'll try to avoid a risk of anything going wrong there. And in terms of the Drivers' Championship, Verstappen leads by 28 points over Hamilton. We sit on 28 points across the first three rounds ourselves, and are 15 points off our teammates, so obviously work to be done, but Leclerc is our first target, 8 points in front of us in fourth place. Of course, the aim is to try and catch him, and then Sergio Perez in third place before we think about trying to catch Verstappen or Hamilton. But of course, the aim here is just try and get our first win of the season. So let's move on now to get qualifying underway for the second ever Miami Grand Prix. Here we go then, time for qualifying at the Miami Grand Prix, just outside of the Hard Rock Stadium there, and getting set for what should hopefully be an entertaining session. Of course, last time out in Baku, our qualifying wasn't fantastic, so we've got to try and improve on that, which shouldn't be too difficult. Obviously, in terms of setup to the power unit, we'll make that change the MGUH, change the ICE, and changing the gearbox as well. So we're counting now for our first qualifying lap around the 8:19 corner, Miami International Autodrome here, and over the curb through turn 18 to get onto our first lap, wasting no time here, and going off towards turn 1. Of course, got a relatively short run to the first corner compared to other circuits, but of course that'll be a DRS zone into this very tight right hand, and of course after turn 1 you immediately met with turn 2 and then turn 3, so it's a little S section here to start us off. Of course, careful to lose the back end of the race car through turn 3, obviously a lot faster compared to the first two turns, and going through towards 4 now, in towards the S section once again, and obviously trying to avoid going off two over those curbs. As you see, as they're going through turn number 5, go over that curb completely on the right side, but I've got a bit wide as a result through turns 7 and 8. Comes the end of our first sector now, 31.1 on the board, and now pushing further on into the lap, we're looking at the long back straight going down towards turn number 17. Of course, the third DRS zone on the circuit, and of course that'll be a very good overtaking opportunity into this last corner. Hulkenberg fastest 1 minute 30.3 on the board for him. We're going to make our way through turn 17 now, and looking to try and beat Hulkenberg's time. Norris over the line, 129.3 just in front of us in the McLaren, and coming towards the line ourselves to complete our first run, 129.9. So it's about 6.5 tenths down on Lando, but crucially still in front of Hulkenberg. But obviously, the first lap, as always, not particularly on pace, so I imagine we'll see us move down the order a fair bit here. So we'll accelerate time, put our second set of soft tyres on, and outside of the top 10, down to P14. There's outside of the top 10 on our first run, 1.5 seconds off of pole. Verstappen right now, 3.5 tenths in front of Carlos Sainz. So work to be done, I think, for the entire field to try and catch Verstappen in that RB19, who so far seems odds on for the driver's title this season. But into our last lap now, and into the last sector, 1 second up overall, 1.1 overall over the course of the lap. So we'll see if we can try and take a spot perhaps on the front row if we get good enough last corner. It's in turn 17 for the last time in this session, and into the left-hander, sorry, keeping it nice and tight, about wide to the right-hand side again on corner exit, through 18, avoiding the curb this time, and going towards turn 19, up towards the line. See where that puts us on the starting grid. It's P4. I think I saw a flash up on the MFD there. We get our result now. P4 on the grid, so outside of the second row, and a solid qualifying effort going into the Miami Grand Prix.
With qualifying finished, it's time to remind ourselves once again of our top 3. Verstappen, Perez, and Lando Norris. With qualifying complete, all that remains now is the main event. We'll be live and uninterrupted for the Grand Prix tomorrow, so make sure you join us then.
Verstappen takes pole, then 4 tenths clear of teammate Sergio Perez. Red Bull still stuck out the front row. Norris third, we qualify 4th, and Sainz lines up behind us in 5th, and Hamilton in 6th. It's going to be quite a task to chase those 2 Red Bulls down, but can we do it? Only 1 way to find out. Let's get into the Miami Grand Prix.
Well, it's no secret that F1 is booming in popularity right now in the USA. Today's race, one of 3 in the United States, is a testament to that. It's time for the Miami Grand Prix. Sitting at the southeastern coast of Florida, the Miami International Autodrome has 19 corners and 3.36 miles of racing. It's a circuit designed to encourage close racing while meeting the highest safety standards. Either way, I'm sure it's one that will please the fans. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position. Sergio Perez lines up alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Norris, Cohen, Sainz, Hamilton, Fernando Alonso, Gasly, Ocon, Oscar Piastri, Joe, Magnussen, Albon, Hulkenberg, Bottas, Leclerc, Stroll, Ricciardo, Sargent, and Yuki Tsunoda. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race. Anthony Davidson joins me once again in the commentary box, and it's fantastic to have you with us here, but I'm curious, as a man with experience out on the track, how do you stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
Well, I imagine they'll be starting to feel the adrenaline as they anticipate the run down into turn one, a bit like preparing to go into battle. The unknown situation will bring nerves, but that's a good thing. It will keep them focused on the moment and on their surroundings as we build towards the start of the Grand Prix.
No more talking then. Time for action here, Miami. From P4 on the starting grid, those two Red Bulls in front of us and Norris on our left going down towards that first corner. In terms of strategy for the race ahead then, of course, soft tyres to mediums normally the go-to, but of course, remember, think back to last season, Verstappen won this race on an alternate strategy. So we're going to try it ourselves here. Go start the mediums and go on to the softs at the end of the Grand Prix, and we'll see if that does any justice over the course of this one. Not too much time lost in terms of projected time, but obviously, anything can happen in this race, so I have to wait and see what chaos awaits us over the next 29 laps.
Here we go then, the formation lap gets underway and the excitement here is building as we near ever closer to the start of the race. Which team will come out on top? Who's got their strategies right for today's race? Well, we'll soon find out.
So soft tyres in the main tyre for the majority of the field here, but a few medium tyre runners, Norris, myself, Piastri, Magnussen, Leclerc at the back, Stroll and Tsunoda, but then Hulkenberg on the hards.
We're almost ready to start the race as the cars take their positions on the grid, with the drivers and teams making their final preparations.
And the steering wheel is moving again. Unfortunately, I managed to turn it off somehow when I was changing settings on my controls before I started a couple of episodes ago. But that is fixed now, so we get the wheel moving as normal. But lining up on the grid, getting set for this one ahead. Of course, the race start will be crucial here, as it has been the last few rounds. Of course, still in Azerbaijan, how good a getaway we had. Of course, that gave us a number of places, particularly after that red flag. We could try and potentially take the lead here with a good enough start going towards turn one. A good enough jump. Could see us try and fit the needle between the two Red Bulls and get around Norris as well. But the last few cars now coming in, taking their spots at the back of the grid there. Sargent and Tsunoda. Of course, Yuki start without grip penalty. Leclerc in P16 looking to try and fight back, and Verstappen looking to add to his win tally as we try to stop him. But here come the lights now for the Miami Grand Prix, round 4 of the season. The lights are coming on now in front of the drivers. Lights up, foot to the floor, go, go, go. We are racing in the Sunshine State. Good start from Norris and myself going towards turn 1. Perez alongside Verstappen going in towards turn 1. Perez on the inside, contact between the two Red Bulls. Verstappen going through turn 2, gets the better on the inside as the outside for turn 3. That's the preferred line there. Verstappen charges around Perez and takes the early lead. We sit down third place, side by side with Norris, edging in front, going towards turn 4. But Norris on our inside though, not letting us get away just yet. Got the inside for turn 5 and now turn 6, starting in front of our compatriot and taking P3 away. It's onto the podium then for the first time today, but Verstappen and Perez already starting to check out. That RB19 is monstrous in terms of pace compared to everyone else, but a decent start from us, 1 place gain. But those two already pulling away. Verstappen in the second half in front already here, pushing on to lap number 4. Verstappen a few laps later, 3.5 seconds to the good, and fastest lap to boot as well. So those two are dominating early on. We've got Carlos Sainz and Lando Norris giving us pressure on through the DRS zone, going down towards the braking zone of turn 11. Sainz closing that gap, but fortunately, I don't think they're not close enough as of yet to go for a move, so we'll give it a minute for now. But a lot of our battery already used, so we're practically done with the tank completely, trying to keep up with these two Red Bulls as best we can on these medium tyres compared to their soft tyres. Pushing on now to a couple corners later, going out of turn 16 over the curve a bit there, but onto the DRS zone and heading down towards turn 17 once again. Sainz about 4 tenths back now, going towards that braking zone without DRS to play. Rear wing goes open on that Ferrari, charging towards the left-hander for the 4th time in this Grand Prix. Norris not too far back either, but on those medium tyres, perhaps falling away a little bit. Sainz the outside, going to defend the inside, going into turn 17 now. Sainz pulls alongside us, but on corner exit and try and shut the door. Sliding on corner exit, but keeping our cool and keeping in front of Sainz more importantly. So P3 is still ours for now as we head on to the 5th lap of this race, but Sainz not done yet, and Norris now closing back in too, sliding through turns 5 and 6 now and running off the circuit. Sainz takes full advantage, goes siding up the inside there, looking for position number 3 of us, and on corner exit going through turn 8 and towards the DRS zone. I think we were just behind him at the DRS mark, so we might actually get it ourselves here going down towards the next braking zone. So side by side with Sainz, rearing opens for us and opens for Norris. Sainz has got no help here, but it's still alongside us. The pace in that Ferrari on the straight line is still fantastic. We're on his outside. You see Alonso and Hamilton there behind us going down towards turn 11. It's one big scruffle here and making our way through the left-hander, getting in front of Sainz, and Norris takes advantage too. Double whammy then for the Spaniard. So Sainz down to 5th place then. Norris in 4th, and we take 3rd place back for now. But crucially, we're not out of the woods just yet because there's still a DRS zone to come here to make our way through 14 and 15 and towards 16 now. Norris on our tail, 7 tenths back to make our way through the left-hander, but gets better exit than we did. I think we hit the back tyres on the outside barrier going towards turn 17 once again, and you see Verstappen and Perez dots there in the distance going towards the braking zone themselves. But Norris is closing, really getting enough runs to try and make a move going down towards 17. Still got plenty of time left, plenty of racetrack to run into before the braking zone. Won't quite get there, so P3 for us only just for the minute, and we'll continue on as we are. Norris on our tail, and Sainz right behind him. Of course, Hamilton and Alonso in that train too. On to lap 9 now, and Norris still giving us pressure. Verstappen 12.5 in front, Perez 9.7 ahead, and Norris right on our tail going towards turn 11 once more. So closing in all the time. Might make a move to the inside. Going to defend the inside ourselves, so Norris has to go the long way around going into turn 11, but of course for turn 12, that'll set him up for the inside, going into the stadium section. So we'll block him out for now and maintain our spot. But look at him go. That McLaren has still got pace in it, despite falling off a little bit in terms of R&D in the off-season through the first few races. McLaren is still quick, and Carlos Sainz is there in 5th place still, unable to extract as much pace from those soft tyres now. He's coming into the pit lane now at end lap number 9, so Sainz perhaps trying a 2-stop as we did last season. But of course, we pitted a bit earlier in this from our soft tyres to 2 sets of mediums, but Sainz likes to maybe going for another set of soft potentially. But further on to lap 10 now, Norris is on our tail once more. Alonso not quite bridging that gap that Sainz has left now, so one Spaniard to another in P5, and Norris is still giving us constant trouble on the run towards 11. So same tactic here, we'll try and defend the inside if we can, but Norris gets there first. Pulls to the left-hand side, going into the braking zone. He's got the inside line going in. We try and switch back if we can, but Norris has cleared us, and that has not worked. So Norris takes P3 for himself once again. Alonso and Hamilton side by side, our teammate fighting his former teammate from 2007 behind us, but pushing on towards the end of lap number 10 now into the last sector, and Norris is still our main target, going down towards the left-hander at turn 17. This time it's our turn with the DRS to make a move on the attack. We go to the outside ourselves, then Norris defends underneath, going into the braking zone. Can we get good enough run around the outside, side by side with our compatriot on quarter exit? Norris nips in front, but make our way out turns 18 and 19 now, up towards the line once again with the inside for 19 and charging towards the line. DRS in our favour once more and clearing Norris and taking 3rd place back once again. So our podium chance looking quite solid at this point in the Grand Prix, but Norris is still behind us in lap number 12, and Verstappen crucially coming in for his first and what should be only stop of this race from softs. 2 mediums, Lewis joining him too, Alonso in as well, Gasly now P5, Verstappen, we managed to pass Verstappen in the pit lane obviously, way too deep there, into turn 1, Norris might try and pull alongside, he's alongside us for turn 2, and on the inside line for 3, clears us, and we run into that with his McLaren going through turn 3, that'll cost some time as Gasly gets in front of Verstappen, but Verstappen will quickly dispatch his former teammate from Red Bull back in 2019. We clear Norris side by side, well, trying to clear Norris rather, on his outside for turn 5, and now turn 6, jumping in front for 7 and in front of Norris once again. But Verstappen is now right behind us coming out of turn 16, and once again this DRS zone, Max has got fresh medium tyres on compared to our warm medium tyres, not to mention the pace difference between the Red Bull compared to the McLaren and the Mercedes. Verstappen on Norris' inside going towards turn 17 now. He gets late on the brakes and goes to our inside too. There goes our former championship rival and current world championship leader, Max Verstappen, making a double pass there. We've been double whammy for once, and taking the place away is the Dutchman as Perez comes to the pit lane himself for lap 14. We'll pass Perez, but Verstappen gets back in front and retakes the lead once again in this Miami Grand Prix. Norris is on our tail, Piastri now P4, and Perez rejoins in 5th. Here comes Perez though on lap 15, closing on us, making a move to the left-hand side and taking the place away, so back to Red Bull 1-2 as it was for now. Norris is pitted, so we're still in P3 as of right now. Piastri now 4th, and Sainz on his second set of soft tyres is in 5th place once again, but Perez pulling away as he pushed on now to our pit lap, lap number 17. Sainz are making a challenge on us going towards the left-hander, but there's still a bit of life left in Sainz's soft tyres, but our mediums are running out here to make our way through. Sainz crosses over us and takes P3 away, so we're actually coming to the pit lane in P4 now, making our first and finally our only stop of this Grand Prix onto a set of soft tyres. We'll try and use those to try and close the gap to the Red Bulls in front, but whether this has worked too well, I'm not entirely sure here, because we're going to lose a large number of spots, which is to be expected, but I think we're actually end up falling further than I anticipated. So 2.3 second stop being made here by our team. We're away on the soft tyres, only car on the soft alongside Sainz, but we're down now to P12, P13. Magnussen going past P14. There's Ricciardo and Bottas P15. It's going to be very tight. Sorry, Magnussen was in the pit lane, so we'll get P15 back, but we're going to emerge in P15. So work to be done now. And we're quite a way back from what is now third place being held by our teammate Lewis Hamilton. A net P3 for him as Sainz yet to come in for his second stop. But Sainz does pit at the end of lap number 18. On lap 19 now, we're closing on Bottas and Daniel Ricciardo to the inside of the Alfa Romeo going towards turn 17. But Bottas will also have DRS, but it actually gets a better run than we do. So pace is down seriously on this Mercedes on the run, going down towards 17 once again. Bottas trying on Ricciardo, going to try and make a move to the inside of both of them, but it's a bit too risky. Won't quite go for it just yet. Still plenty of life left in these softs, but a better exit for us is required than Bottas, making our way through turns 18 and 19 now, making our way through right-hand side on Bottas inside for turn 19 in front of one of them. Can we take two now? Ricciardo on the inside going towards turn 1, defending underneath. We'll try the outside then for that first corner. Into the right-hander we go. There's Guan Yu Zhou in front, a few seconds clear. We'll make our way around Ricciardo through turn 2 and taking that place where it's a P13 for us, so P12 for us now, to make our way through. Sainz is stuck behind those two. They've got more car pitted in that point, so up P12 now, 2 places up from the points, and Guan Yu Zhou is our next target at lap 21 of this race. DRS in play towards turn 11, this time we're the car on the attack. On the outside looking towards the braking zone, Piastri 4 seconds in front of us, but it's at the end of that train, which should take us to around P6, P5 here, making our way through turn number 11, giving Zhou no quarter whatsoever, and taking P11 back, so 1 place off the points now, and these soft tyres need to get to work, because it'll be a hard charge to chase down Piastri and Leclerc and the cars in front. On to lap 23 now, Leclerc is our next target, there in front, Piastri's dispatched him, and we now sit right behind the Monegasque in the Ferrari, going through the last few corners here on the main straight once again, on to lap 24, 6 laps to go in this Miami Grand Prix. Gonna try and make a move towards turn 1, go for a late dive. I'm going to try and send it into this first corner, down the inside of Leclerc, but Leclerc gets back on alongside us on corner exit. We went a bit deep there at turn 1, starting through turn 2. Leclerc slides himself, gets all out of shape, and will take the place away. So into P10 now, it's back in the points paying places, but work still to be done. Piastri and now Albon's in front of us on lap 25. Albon has also been dispatched by Piastri himself, but now trying to come back at the Australian, going towards turn 17 once again, closing on both cars and making our way through. Contact with Piastri, pushing him out of the way, but at this point, we're trying to make up some places here. I doubt we'll actually get to P4 at this point, so no quarter to give him once again. I'll get around Piastri and take P9 away. Surprised didn't get a warning for that, but we'll continue on as we are. And Albon, our next target, and the Williams going towards turn 1. Albon doing a fantastic job in this race. We're going to try and make another dive towards this first corner. Down on the inside, a bit deep again, but holding our line this time on corner exit. Piastri and Albon right behind us, and P8 in our possession now, and it's Norris and then Ocon, and then Gasly and Alonso in front of us. Yellow flag a lap later on lap 27, 3 laps to go in this Grand Prix. Looks like one of the Ferraris has got a problem here, and crucially, unbeknownst to us at this point, but that is Carlos Sainz who's going out of this race. So Sainz had that two-stop strategy not quite working for him, as this race goes from bad to worse here. So some kind of problem, can't imagine what this late in the race, but Leclerc goes around the outside of his teammate. Sainz was pushing behind us on that set of medium tyres and was really going for it. He saw him get around Ricciardo and Bottas and was slowly creeping back up behind us, and there is Guan Yu Zhou going past him, and we should see Ricciardo and Bottas appear at some stage here as Sainz has to pull the car over, presumably at the exit of turn number 5, and that is race over for him. There goes the train, there through, making their way past, and Sainz pulls the car over. That's it for him. So Carlos Sainz is out of this one, but we are still in the fight here and try to take on Norris, then Ocon, Gasly, and then Alonso in these last few laps for 4th place. Can we still do it? Hamilton, Verstappen and Perez all sitting in the podium places. We can try and take some more places if we can. Gonna try and make a move to the inside of Norris going towards turn number 17, but Norris blocks off the inside, making our way through now, trying to get a good move on corner exit, and Ocon's lost it! There goes the Alpine investment, and Ocon, no! In front of the entire pack! It's a traffic jam here. The second race in a row, Ocon has spun out, but this time we're caught in it. Norris is caught, Leclerc caught, Albon caught. Ocon, move out of the way! At this late on in the race, our chances of P4 absolutely shot. Leclerc gets past, Norris is pulling away. Leclerc, move it, go! What's going on? This late in the race, I've never seen that before. Right in front of us of all places, but a traffic jam at turn 17 blocks everyone off. Ocon, 5-second penalty, and our rear tyres are absolutely destroyed now in terms of temperature. You see us sliding through turn 1. Leclerc got away after we did, tried to drive into us, making our way from that wreck. But Leclerc is gone 117 degrees on the rear tyres. I've never seen them that high before. Leclerc is going, Norris is gone, Alonso and Gasly are both gone. Ocon has held the entire grid up, gets a 5-second penalty as a result. But on to our last lap now. Tyres have cooled considerably here. We'll try and go for one last send on Leclerc into this first corner. Down the inside of the Monegasque once again. Try and take P7 back, at least try and salvage some points in this race. Was the charge to P4 on? Who knows? But the charge was on today for Max Verstappen up front, who's had no clue of what's going on behind him. No such drama whatsoever. He comes through turn 17 himself for the final time to take 3 wins from 4 races and continue Red Bull's 100% streak to start this 2023 season. Verstappen triumphs once again at South Beach. He wins the Miami Grand Prix. Checo flag for Verstappen and will come through some 30-40 seconds later thanks to that spin out from Ocon, coming through, holding off Leclerc and Albon up to the line. P7 at the flag. And the strategy didn't pay off today, but that was one last little surprise, one last twist in the tail. You never, never, never stop thinking of what could happen in Formula 1 because sometimes it happens, and it did today. P7 at the flag. What a disappointment.
They've done it then. A truly magnificent win here at the Miami International Autodrome. Well, Anthony Davidson, a resounding victory today, but what set them apart from the rest?
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
Red Bull put up an outstanding fight for the front position today, and it's great to see it paid off for them. They do so much for the sports that you can't help but be delighted by today's race win.
So after all that then, Max Verstappen still wins, Perez second, Hamilton finishes in third. That should have been us truthfully on the podium, but the strategy wasn't to be. I thought I'd try it, it didn't pay off, but sometimes you make those kind of mistakes, but that spin out the end, did not see that coming at all. And we've never been on the receiving end of that sort of treatment over the course of this series, I think ever when playing the F1 game, but overall, a very exciting race in the end, it has to be said. Let's have a look now at the final results in this Miami Grand Prix and see exactly how much that changes the World Drivers' and Constructors' Championships.
Let's see how the drivers' standings have changed. Max Verstappen should be pleased with his performance, making gains at the top of the table. So, Anthony Davidson, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
Often my go-to would be a driver who's managed to pull off an especially impressive feat during the race. However, in this instance, I was more impressed by Max Verstappen's solid, clean driving throughout the event.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. And pulling further ahead in the standings, it's Red Bull. Well, what an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
So off the podium, Alonso finishes in 4th place, Gasly finishes 5th, Norris 6th, we finished 7th, Leclerc 8th, Albon 9th, and Zhou Guanyu runs up the top 10. I think the gaps there don't really tell the whole story in the end. We finished a minute behind Verstappen. We were only about 30 seconds back, I had to guess, at some point during that race. But a very, very surprising again. Ocon not even in the top 14 there. But in terms of the championship standings, we're now 6 points back from Leclerc. So we're gained a little bit today. But Verstappen now 62 points clear of us in the standings, and now 38 clear of both Perez and Hamilton. In the Constructors, Red Bull still dominate that standing. We still sit in 2nd place only just. But guys, that'll do it for this episode of the F1 Ultimate Career Series. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more future F1 content. And have a fantastic day. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.